Today is the last day of the year, December 31st. And now let's see if I can manage to finish this wreath. Now the most difficult part is how to determine when a painting is actually finished. So let's see. Yesterday I've been trying to figure out how to paint the spruce stuff, and eventually I found a very sketchy way of doing it. Now the question is, it's one day later, do I still remember how I did it? So I will add a touch of water, doing that first. And then picking up from my very beautiful, yes, this looks so good. So good, so much better than my own what I did first. This is better. Forest green, let's put that in. It's a bad weather today. It's raining and there's a lot of wind. Let's pick up Paynes grey and a weather record will be broken today. Today will be the warmest December 31st ever recorded. They started recording here in 1901, it is said. So there's a little bit more Paynes grey here. So they say that today will be the hottest New Year's Eve ever recorded. I'm now picking up phthalo green light. So with the spruce, I'm not looking for perfection because that's beyond my abilities right now. I'm just trying to make it look well, just like it, a little sketchy, and well, that's it. I'll pick up a little more of the phthalo green light. And let's do this one. Starting out with Paynes grey this time. Look at that, just the feeling of a brush on this Hahnemühle Quattro paper. That is so good. A little more Paynes grey, and then the forest green. I'm I'm looking forward to going to the woods again. It's been a while. I think the first woods we are going to see will be woods in Germany and Austria when we will be traveling to Austria in a couple of weeks for winter sports. Yes, you will hear a lot of noise in the background, I think, because today many kids are already enjoying the fireworks and making a lot of noise. There's another one. As you can see, the way that I paint this spruce is changing, and that has everything to do with the learning curve. I am learning right now, so I am discovering new things as I continue the painting. Phthalo green light, and that's completely fine with me. Although all the spruce, they will look a little bit different and unique here in this painting. That has everything to do with this learning curve. That's okay. I've been looking at a couple of pictures that I took from this painting, and I was already surprised that I was able to get the level that is here now in this painting. I thought, well, it's just surprising. It looks better than I thought that I could do. So let's continue over here, picking up Paynes Grey. Need a little more water. This is very dark. Now the question is, will I be able to finish this today? The most difficult part of painting for me is when you are about to finish it. How do you know when a painting is finished? I'm still learning about that, I have to say. But I think it has something to do with when all the elements in a painting have the same level of intensity and color and detail, then you could consider it to be finished. Chocolate, yes. Let's pick up. Oh dear. I almost dropped you. I only want it like this, so this is what I want. Now you can see how I pick up the paint. Phthalo green light. And I'm going to put that in. A little more. You can see when the paint is a little bit thicker, it becomes a little more opaque. It's not like with gouache or acrylics or an oil paint. And with pastels you can be very opaque as well. Let's make this a little darker with Paynes grey. There is more spruce, like over here. So tonight it is New Year's Eve, and in the Netherlands we have a couple of traditions that people do. For example, eating oliebollen, eating oil balls. It's a ball of dough, maybe a little bit like a donut, but then it's a ball. And then there is, there's sometimes they have something in it. I don't know the word for it. Anyway, they fry them and then they eat them. I never ate them, didn't like them. And they are packed with wheat and gluten, so I cannot handle wheat and gluten, so not eating them. They also, people also make some sort of apple, tiny apple snacks. Let's call it a snack. Picking up Paynes grey again. Yeah. So people eat that, and everybody tries to stay awake until 12 o'clock at night when the new year starts, and then everybody runs out. Many people run out to enjoy their fireworks. And then tomorrow, January 1st, many people go see family members that they didn't see on New Year's Eve. Now, as you can see, there's very little contrast here between the spruce and the background. Now, I can do two things. Either I try to make the background look lighter, or I add an extra color to the background to make it darker. So I'll have to make a decision about that. This project has taught me so much, not only about painting and sketching, but also about recording and using a new editing program. I was used to the free editing program from YouTube that I used, but YouTube discontinued that back in September, I believe. And so I had to switch to something else, and I'm slowly now finding out how it works, and it works well. But that always takes time for me. It's never But now I'm finding out that this new program app has some great features. So let's take a look. Well, not bad. I will now do a little more work on these leaves, because these leaves, they have a light yellow rim, brim, something, how do you call that? The edge of the... Now I have to think about which yellow I will use. I think I first will go for the raw sienna, because I already used that in the painting, and that will give unity. Just a touch of it here and there. The rim of these leaves are so light, they are almost white, so I will have to be careful and not put too much paint on it. So I'm now picking up excessive paint. And over here I'm going to put in a little bit of a forest green. I think that will work to make this look a little bit more integrated in the painting. Forest green. I've had several questions about the brushes that I use. Which one is your favorite? It depends. the brush that gives me the most joy is this one, Winsor & Newton Series 7, because the feel of this brush is so soft and smooth and just wonderful. I'm now putting in a little bit of the Winsor Red here, but I am using did you see what happened? There was not enough water in my brush, and instead of adding paint to the paper, I was sucking up the paint, the wet paint that was already there. So I'm now going to add water to my brush, picking up Winsor Red, and now let's see, that looks better. Well, that looks better. That's good. Yeah. What happens if I do a touch of this over here? Because I feel these leaves need a little more variation in their tone. Cleaning the brush again. Now trying to So I will now use the Winsor & Newton, add a touch of water and a touch of this Winsor Red. There it goes. Just a little bit is enough to make it work. Cleaning my brush, and now I'm going to distribute. And actually, this works very well with the Winsor & Newton because it is so soft. It's really a very good brush. There's a little bit too much here. So let's do the same here. Just a touch of water here and there. A touch of that Winsor Red. Ooh, 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 that is strong. There's a little bit of paint here where I really don't want to have it. So. Now this area. That is a very tricky one. My feeling says that I should not darken the background, but darken the spruce. Or making the background a little bit lighter. I'm going to do some testing with my angled brush, because that angled brush is able to pick up paint. Look, like that. I have to be very, very careful. I do not want to ruin the paper here. This is very dangerous what I'm doing now, guys. Very dangerous. I hope this is going to work out. And again, this is something that an experienced artist would never have to do, because he or she knows exactly, they know better what to do when I was making this background here. I was clearly not thinking about the colors in the spruce. So next time I will give that more thought. Now I don't want to leave it like this. I'm going to put in a light tone, a light color. Adding more water. So, I'm now going to use a touch of phthalo blue, just a tiny bit, you see, to add a touch of color. Well, this is clearly this had everything to do with my lack of experience, but this looks better. So now there is something over here that I want to change. This leaf needs a lot more darkness. This leaf needs more red and a touch of Paynes grey and a touch of raw umber. Let's start with the raw umber. I'm using the Winsor & Newton pencil again of the brush. Winsor & Newton brush. This is Paynes grey. And I'm going to put in that Paynes grey here right next to the bell. So. And now I'm adding a touch of red. I really have to say this Winsor & Newton brush, I think it is my favorite, but I will not always use it because the water brushes, they are so handy. You don't need jars of water and, you know. So when I go out on vacation, I think the water brushes are, I will use them the most. But this Winsor & Newton brush is absolutely amazing. So for detailed work and studio work, I think I will be using this one more and more. And my wish is to have one day have a Winsor & Newton Series 7 Finest Sable water brush. So a water brush with this type of hair. Then you would have the best of two worlds together. I will add a touch of raw umber. Oh, I need more. Now I will have to let things dry now to see how that works out. I think I could help these leaves over here to add a little bit more darkness to the background here. So let's do that right now. And I want to smooth things out here a little bit more. That looks better. So I will add water here. Let's start with a touch of blue, phthalo blue. So I'm going to add a touch of Paynes grey. I'm sorry, the camera was out of focus, sorry. And I feel I should do more, but I feel I should add a touch of red in the background, but that is a bit dangerous. Let's see if that works. That looks better. Now I'm going to let this dry and then I think I will do a little bit more work on it. Now the inside of these poinsettia flowers, I bought one a couple of weeks ago, but it is gone. But I received another one, and this one shows beautifully where the flowers are, because those huge red leaves are not the flowers, these are just leaves, and this here, these are the flowers. So that is a bright green with a touch of red and yellow. Now I will leave the red behind because here in the painting there is not much room for all the detail of these tiny flowers. So I will add a bright green and yellow. And well, I'll stick to the Winsor & Newton brush. So I will first put in lemon yellow. Picking that up right now. And I will do that with the other ones as well. Over here. Okay. Now over here there is something strange going on. This should not be so light. And here, looking at the reference print, this should just be a leaf. So I'm picking up water again. I'm just adding water, Winsor red, adding a touch of raw umber. And a touch of Paynes grey. Nope, that's not enough Paynes grey. And not enough water. Well, there we go. The fireworks outdoors, it stopped. At least it stopped for a great deal because the weather is deteriorating. It's raining, raining, raining. And that is not much fun for the kids. I do hear a little bit of fireworks, but not as much as it was a couple of hours ago. Picking up raw umber, this is clean water. I'm just smoothing things out a little bit. Some more raw umber here. Cleaning the brush again. So yeah, tomorrow it will be January 1st. And normally I would then start writing in my new new agenda, my new, there's another word for it in English, new calendar. But this year I won't, because I switched to a school planner. That is what I was looking for. This year I switched to a school planner. To me it just doesn't feel logical. I'm going to work on this here. And I'm going to use a water brush. Cleaning up this here. No, I've always, when you are a child, you live by the school year that starts in August or September. And then when you finish your schools and you start working, then you suddenly you switch to a different planner that starts in January. And for some reason, that felt it just after 25 years, no, that's a bit overreacting. After 20 years of being out of school and study and working, it still didn't feel natural for me to live by a planner that starts in January. Isn't that strange? So I decided to just try it and switch to a school planner again. And well, actually that feels quite good. I'm going to add a touch of lemon yellow here. So it's just an experiment. But for me it always felt like the year isn't over until we reach the month of July. So let's see what happens if this fits me better. And I actually have, I told a student, a voice student, and she was telling me exactly the same thing. She had done the same thing. She went back to the school planner also. It made more sense to her. Interesting, don't you think? This is messy too. Let's get rid of this. So I'm now in the final stages of this painting, just cleaning up things, trying to improve things here and there. Learning from mistakes that I made, very important. I've met a lot of people lately who are all struggling with perfectionism. That seems to be an epidemic almost, perfectionism. It's an illness, guys. If you are not willing to make mistakes, you will never grow, never be able to learn new things. Never ever. And perfectionism, perfect is something different than beauty. I think you can better strive for beauty than for perfection. Picking up this Windsor red to see if I can add a touch of detail here and there. Squeezing the brush to add a little bit more water. So, same goes here. And this one here. Yeah, I've met quite a lot of people lately who are all struggling with this perfectionism, and for none of them it works. It is, for all of them, it is actually ruining their lives. I tend to strive for perfectionism as well. So I need to be careful with it, and I'm trying to change my focus to beauty instead of perfection. That's much more joyful. So what I'm doing now is just adding a little bit of detail. Not everywhere, just a touch here and there. I like the sketchy look of this painting. And the sketchy look you know, it really if you choose a sketchy look, then you don't have to do so much about detail. Painting nature very detailed, I think it's beautiful, but it's also very difficult. It's called botanical art. I've been thinking about doing following a course next summer. But I did a little bit of research, and I have a feeling that it's not completely for me. The level of detail that you need to get is so high. It's a scientific way of painting and drawing. Now, that is something that interests me a lot, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to do that amount of work. Maybe I should wait a little longer. First, learn more about sketching and drawing and painting. I would like to improve my sketching. I have to say that is not... that could be better, my sketching. I'm always messing around with reference photos and tracing paper, and I would love to be able to just sit down in nature and just draw everything you see. But that is something that I'm not able to do yet. Maybe in a couple of years. My favorite Dutch painter, Rien Poortvliet, he's a wildlife painter, and I think he's just great. He passed away years ago, but I still love his paintings. And they once asked him, Mr. Poortvliet, why haven't you painted a fox yet? And he told them, I haven't painted one yet because I haven't seen one in the wild yet. I must see the animal, see it move, see the character of the animal, and then I can paint it. eventually he went out a lot into nature, and of course he saw foxes, and then he started painting them. Absolutely amazing, beautiful paintings. All of his animals, you know, he didn't paint the animal, he painted more. He painted the excitement that you feel when you are suddenly encountering a wild animal. And I think if you can show that emotion in your work, then you are a true master. Yes, this is going well. Adding a touch of detail here and there, so I'm just working with that Windsor red. Just a touch of it here and there. My brush is a little dry, so I squeeze it and then, oh. Now, if you are following this course and it's not working out the way you would like it to work out, don't stop, keep going, because while painting you will learn so much more, and then maybe you would like to start over again in the end. That's okay, but use that first painting to explore new techniques, learn about your pencil or your brushes, and learn about, this is a little bit of raw umber. Yeah, just learn about your brushes and your paints and how the paper reacts, you know. The paper has its own character. You need to get to learn about what works best. So don't give up too easily.